Welcome back. This is Morning Express. Let's get you updated on some stories. Mangroves play an important role in reducing vulnerability to natural hazards and increasing resilience to climate change impacts, especially in island areas. Juma Majanga looks at how high dependency on peri-urban mangroves of Kenyan coastal city of Mombasa is threatening the island's country's sole forest and the efforts being made to protect it.
A makeshift structure made from mangrove trees right in the middle of mangrove forest in Junda area in Kenya's coastal city of Mombasa. The forest invading locals put up such structures inside the forest as brewing hideouts. This is just one of the many threats facing this mangrove forest. Mangroves play an important role in reducing vulnerability to natural hazards and increasing resilience to climate change impacts. They are efficient natural carbon sinks, locking and storing carbon dioxide at up to 5 times the rate of tropical rainforests. Mangroves provide essential habitat for thousands of species. They stabilize shorelines, prevent erosion and protect the land and the people who live there from waves and storms. Being an island area means Mombasa is prone to climate change disasters. Being the only forest in the entire county of Mombasa, this mangrove forest is critical in the protection of this island area.
For example, if you have high wave, if there is like strong storms, it provides a physical barrier between that wave energy and the communities. Mangroves are important fisheries nurseries. They are habitats for important fisheries that can improve the socio-economic status of communities.
Most of the investments in the coastline are actually a few meters above sea level, and therefore any movement of that water into the other territories, it will cause havoc.
Mangroves play a key role in the conservation of marine ecosystem. Their resilience to saline conditions, however, makes them a target of poaching. This is a story of protecting the environment protector. According to the National Mangrove Ecosystem Management Plan 2017-2027, mangrove forests in Kenya cover about 61,271 hectares, representing approximately 3% of the natural forest cover, with Mombasa occupying 3,771 hectares of this. But the high dependency on the mangroves by the locals for construction, fuel energy, and as brewing hideouts, coupled with extremely high demand for land in the city, may soon see these numbers drastically reduce. Between 1985 and 2009, the country lost about 20% of its mangrove cover. The loss was exceptionally high in the peri-urban mangroves of Mombasa.
Mombasa has lost over 80% of its forest, based on research. It was normal to see a woman getting into a forest and cut trees. More and more communities have been going towards the forest.
In an effort to reverse these laws and to intensify conservation efforts, the Kenya Forest Service has come up with Operation Linda Mikoko, a marine patrol operation to protect the mangroves from poachers. Sergeant Hamisi Bakari is leading Operation Linda Mikoko in Mombasa. Born and raised here, Bakari has literally lived the impact of the wanton degradation of the important forest that he is now tasked to protect.
Wakati wa nyuma, msitu umekuwa na hali ya kuharibiwa kwa sababu nyuma kule watu hawakuwa wakijua umuhimu wao. Walikuwa na ile culture ya kwamba hii miti ni kama ile miti ya kawaida.
The routine journey begins at the Kenya Forest Service offices, where a security brief is given before heading to Chuda Creek on the shores of the Indian Ocean in readiness for the deep ocean patrol. Here, with all the essentials checked, we take a speedboat across the deep ocean to Manyani in Junda area. After about 10 minutes of speedboating aboard MV Hifadhi, we arrive on the other side of the ocean. It is a dangerous operation and security measures have to be in place at all times. The rangers take the steps deep into the mangroves, hoping that these steps will get them their goal, seeing these mangrove forests thrive again. A couple of meters into the forest, the rangers spot a man covered in mud with luggage in his hands. He is a crab hunter, another threat to the mangroves.
Hawa kaa utapata kuna mashimo kwa hii mizizi, na ndio kaa wanapatikana pale ndani.
When a mangrove crab hunter want to get a crab, he'll cut the mangrove and get one crab.
This hunter is lucky today. He is allowed to go after inspection of his catch, but not without a warning not to cut mangrove trees in the forest. Deep into the forest, we come across the vivid human destruction of the forest. Here, the mangroves have been cleared and the place turned into a brewing den for illicit brew. Smoke still billows from the makeshift fireplaces with brewing tanks all over the place. Today, the brewers got wind of the operation and escaped before we got here. But how did we get to this extent of degradation?
We have some people who have extended the very informal settlements into the mangrove ecosystem. And in some cases, very high-rise buildings have found themselves too close to the riparian or the reserves of the ocean.
The UN Sustainable Development Goal number 13 calls for climate action in mitigating the effects of climate change. These rangers from the Kenya Forest Service are literally in action for that call. Interventions like Operation Linda Mikoko have played a key role in helping reduce the degradation of the mangrove forest. However, to take the conservation and restoration of this important ecosystem to the next level, nature-based solutions that most importantly improve the lives of the forest-dependent people are needed.
Sustainability is giving alternative livelihoods. This is seeing that how can we divert the community from logging, from developing illegal business in the forest, and rather look at the forest as an empowerment, as a livelihood opportunity.
Past restoration projects have tended to ignore, alienate, or even exploit the people living closest to the mangrove forest. Therefore, as a long-term measure, the Kenya Forest Service has incorporated the local community organizations in its operations to help save the mangroves.
Sasa lazima tukae nao chini, tuwaelimishe zaidi, ndio waweze kuona kwamba huu msitu ni muhimu zaidi wao, kwetu na vizazi vijavyo. Kwa sababu tukipanda hii miti na kuichunga, basi mazingira yakiwa mazuri, vizazi vijavyo utapata msitu wetu utakuwa bado ngali mzuri kama wakati ule.
We have seen when we engage with the communities and develop what we call participatory forest management plan together with them, they become our core managers of those resources. They feel that this resource is not for the government, it's actually for our own resources. And we also go together with creating awareness among them about if you destroy this mangrove ecosystem, before the Kenyan nation suffers, you'll have suffered directly.
Conservationist Bosco John Juma is the founder of Big Ship and member of the Mombasa Community Forest Association, an umbrella of environmental organizations in Mombasa working towards conservation of mangroves. Together with other partners, they have begun the restoration of the mangroves with a number of replanting programs.
We have a project known as Adopt a Site, where we call in partners, stakeholders, government agencies, and individuals to look at the degraded forest and adopt it. You take a forest and you go with it for the long time. As we speak now, we are talking over 150,000 trees put on the ground. Okay? We have a success rate of 95%. The forest has natural regeneration. If you don't interfere with it, it will bring back itself. It has that ability. So while we are doing replanting, while we are counting some successes in our replanting, but we know if we can change the culture of the community towards that forest, we'll need not more than another 10 years for the forest to bring back itself.
Umepata mtu amekata miti na anasafirisha kutumia na hizi dau zao za mbao ndogo. kumshika kidogo inakuanga challenge. Sasa ile umemfikia, unapata mtu ameruka kwa maji, amekuachia boti. Sasa inabidi uchukue boti, uende uweke tu kama exhibit, lakini ule mwenye amefanya ule uharibifu hujampata. Na kama hujampata, kumbuka kuna wakati mwingine tena atarudi tena aje afanye tukio kama lile tena.
As we speak today, one ranger is supervising about 1,400 hectares of forest against the international standard of 1 ranger to 400 hectares. We are actually working together with the government to see how we can be able to be allowed to actually recruit more forest rangers. That is one. Two, we want to use technology and innovations so that even if a ranger was to cover 400 hectares, they can be able, by advancement of technology, by creating mobility, they can be able to comfortably cover another 400 hectares. So it is a combination of that. And as we speak today, through a project funded by the UK Space Agency, we also have a pilot project in Kwale, and that is helping us through the Forest 2020 project. The rangers and the communities have a mobile app, and whenever they see an incident, they are able to lock it in, and it comes to the headquarters, and we are able to send targeted response to those challenges. And this is something we want to upscale. We are now developing mangrove map. It was not there before. Now we're going to be generating a mangrove map that tells us with accuracy what resource do we have, and therefore we can be able to manage it fully.
While the threat to mangrove ecosystems are increasing, the need to retaining and enhancing their economic, social and environmental functions is only becoming greater. This requires the review of policy and legislation relating to the use and management of mangrove ecosystems.
We have a very strong document, a policy document, which is the integrated ecosystem mangrove plan of 2017-2027. And this document is very, 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 very detailed on what the challenges are and what must be done. And we have started, as Kenya Forest Service, implementing it jealously.
So by protecting this forest, ensuring that these mangrove can absorb carbon dioxide, which is a contributant to climate change, they're also ensuring that climate change of the future doesn't become worse. So communities do not have to face more extreme weather events in the future.
Mangroves are considerably resilient species and may recover even without active restoration efforts once stresses to them have been removed. These rangers' drive and hope is that these seedlings will grow into mature trees and be the environment protector. For Africa Development Journal, I'm Juma Majanga.
And on that environmental note, Morning Express draws to a close. Thank you so much for tuning in from the beginning up to now. Tune in tomorrow, same place, same time. My name is Trix Ingado. Have yourself a lovely day ahead.